We are on.
Hello, and welcome to D20, where we roll dice before one of our internet goes out. My name is Kate, I'm the DM.
Hi, I'm Alice. I play Town Hall Bot.
I'm going to say my name, Nora. My name's Jess. I play Nora, Human Wizard.
My name is Jules, and I play Red the Elven Ranger. And Rogue.
And my name, my name is Miller, and I play Augie the Human Paladin / Warlock.
And Maddie, who plays, Val, the Tiefling Druid / Barbarian. It's good, you guys. Will hopefully be joining us in maybe a few minutes, maybe longer. We don't know. But she will be here today, which is exciting. In the meantime, we just have a few little quick announcements, and then we'll jump in. But the first thing we want to talk about is that we have social media besides just Twitch. So we have an Instagram that we're going to start posting on soon again. We have a Discord channel server that is pretty fun. Actually, my little brother just mentioned that he knows how to do like customized emojis, so that might be happening. That's pretty cool, so be on the lookout for that. We have a Twitter, we have a TikTok, which is really hopping, so you should go check that out. And then do we have anything else you want to say?
No.
Nope. Actually, if you go and join our Discord, over in the art channel, one of a very good friend of the show, Micky, posted a beautiful written song about Augie. It's gorgeous, you guys. I got emotional listening to it. So you should definitely go check it out because they have a great voice and they're a great song. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Do we have anything else we'd like to say? If anyone has anything that they want to plug as well, in terms of, I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Oh, did we mention that? No, it's fine. It's alright, we can do it later. Like, maybe new art?
Oh.
No. We'll keep going.
So anyways, we will jump right in, and then hopefully Maddie will be here soon and can jump in as well. So, last we left off, I know I'm starting in that weird...
Last we left
off, we saw TAVRN. Okay, we're running Curse Straw now, so I hope everyone has... So, last we left off, our group of adventurers was just outside the city wall of Clea, the home city and county thereof of our good old paladin warlock Paulock Augustus, and were encountered by a few rebels who trepidatiously extended their trust to both parties and helped them to get past the main gate and on the way inside. They then were blindfolded and put inside a cart where they were taken to a flower shop, and through some discussion and stuff, very quickly realized that the flower shop itself was a front for an underground rebellion growing in the city. Being taken down, Augie was thereby quickly put on trial, in which he required a test of strength put on by the hilt of the Shattered Gauntlet, which is the name you infer of the Rebel Alliance. And upon sort of, passing the test, was quickly reunited at the very end of the last session with his thought to be dead sister, Bianca. So, Bianca, by the way, just to kind of get what she looks like, and I don't know how well I described it, very similar to Augie, very jovial and young-looking face that has a bit of gauntness under the eyes and a little bit of premature wrinkles, where you wouldn't expect one for such a young age. Short cut hair with a side, like an undercut with a nice big floofy puff of curly hair, blonde, similar to Augie's, that kind of folds down over the side. And on one of her eyes, one of her is blue, like Augie's, but one of them is white with a large scar that is scraping and takes up the half of her face. But she still is hugging Augie, who's looks with a bit of a shock on his face, kind of a little stood still for a moment while the rest of you are in the back room. And she just holds you for a second and says, "Seriously, though, you did get a lot taller. I thought you were done growing for a while, but I guess that wasn't quite the case."
Yeah, it's a bit of a long story. He's gonna hold her face and just look at you.
Hi.
Wow. Did he?
We can talk about that in a little bit. Thank you all for helping with this. I think that we've all found our point to be made, yes? And you watch now as everyone in the room reveals their hoods, kind of pulling back, and you see you see a group of diverse individuals, many tall, many short. You actually see one that looks like a halfling that appears to be on stilts and kind of takes the time and sits down and begins to untie. There's about 25 people in this rather large room of different stocks and builds. There's quite a few halflings, a couple of dwarves, many are human, a few half-elf. There's one goblin, and there is a large-looking bugbear, actually, in one of the back corners that is also pulling off a hood. You also watch with the two guards that dragged in the roughed-up-looking man begin to go over and unshackle him as well, and he kind of sits up and dusts himself off before you see a small, elderly-looking dwarf begin to hobble over to him, kind of conversing quietly. And they go, "Oh, yes, sorry. You can bring in your friends as well. Apologies for all this, we had to be sure, but..."
Did Ren manage to get out of his shackles? Because he was trying to do that last
I
time.
think, oh, that's right. You rolled really high. They go to undo each of your shackles, and Galette goes over to start undoing yours, and before realizing that yours have been undone, and just kind of impressive work. And you all are led into the room where Bianca goes, "Now, if that's all, I think we can be dismissed for the evening." And you see the one who was sitting backwards in the chair kind of conducting the trial goes, and she goes, It's all right. We're done. We've seen what we need to see. Now let's adjourn for the night. He goes, very well, and kind of takes a moment and looks Augie up and down before quickly leaving the room. And Bianca turns to all of you and says, hi, I'm Bianca. It's nice to meet all of you. Augie, would you like to introduce me to your friends?
Yeah. This is Nora, Tim, Ren, and Val. What do you think? This is my sister, Bianca.
Hi.
Yeah.
I should mention to the rest of you, she looks to be anywhere from 15 to 17, about 16 years old.
Oh, okay.
You look a lot alike. Very similar.
Yeah.
I want to give her a note.
Similar genes and all that.
I'm sorry, I'm still confused. If you're related, what was the whole welcoming party about?
Yeah, let's, Augie, I'd really like to talk to you, and, I don't know many of your friends, but you're welcome to come as well. But this is more of a private conversation, I think.
Yeah, I trust them with my life, so yeah, they can come.
Okay. Yeah, then follow me. And she turns and kind of opens through one of the sets of double doors and leads you all into a long hallway. It's quite humid down here, more humid than it was previously that you'd expect. And there is a little bit of condensation on the walls as it's dripping, but it's also quite cold as well. Though not dark, it's very nicely lit as she kind of leads you into a small room with very simple furnishings. There's a bed, there is a desk that has some papers, no writing as far as you can tell, and a small inkwell and quill set. There's no books, there's no art. It looks almost as though it's a simple hotel room more than someone living. You'd actually expect that it's nothing more than a guest house if you didn't notice that there is a closet that has a small amount of clothing inside and a few weapons, a long staff, and a few other small things stacked up in one of the corners. But she beckons you all in and she takes off these bracers that she's wearing and puts them nearby on a desk and sits cross-legged on the bed and says, sorry about that. There was a bit of an issue and we didn't really know who to trust. And I didn't really know who to trust. Living in Clea after a while will kind of do that to you. But it's nice to meet all of you, and I'm glad to hear that you're out of his clutches, I guess. So what have you been up to?
That's lots of stuff, really. So okay, don't freak out, but I did die. I'm fine now.
So are you, and you see her kind of reach out and quickly like jabs at your stomach.
No,
and like
I'm
surprised she meets resistance. She goes, okay. Sorry, just had to double check, but
Yeah,
okay.
No, I'm human. So turns out Dad sort of sold my soul. and I died. Spent 3 years in hell, but I'm 20 now. But I'm back. I kind of just got back like a little bit ago.
And are all of you? Are you also an
We're alive.
undead legion? Oh, okay.
Oh. I have not died yet.
I thought I died at one point, but I hadn't.
Hey, me
I'm pretty
too.
close to.
Wow.
That's crazy how that works.
Sorry, Augie, did you know Bianca was alive?
No, I thought you were dead, and
That's
he's gonna hold
so
up his
funny.
pointer
I thought
finger.
you were dead too.
Yeah, I know, crazy. He holds up his pointer finger. I got a tattoo for you. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh. If Dad was gonna kill you before, oh no.
So
Sorry.
if you thought that Bianca had died, how did you not die?
yeah.
Oh, well, bit of a long story. I don't. Has Aki ever told you about me, or I don't? Do you know? Let's start simpler. Do you know anything about our family?
Bits and pieces.
Okay.
We're not big share group, so
Oh, yeah. I get that. You know, it's hard to know who to trust and all that. So, Augie and I are brother and sister. Well, I guess half brother, half sister. It's hard to tell. Dad has father has had so many wives after all. Did you know he remarried?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
Yeah. I feel bad for her. I'm sure she won't last very long. But so Augie's my older brother, much older now, I guess. We had a childhood, I guess, if you could call it that. I don't know where to start. I'm not a very good storyteller. That was kind of more of Augie's expertise.
Nora kind of looks at Ren like,
Why don't you start with what you thought happened, Augie? And then Bianca, you can say what really happened.
so you did come home one day, Bianca. So and I knew you like to sneak out at night a lot. So I thought maybe you got carried away, a little reckless, spending more time outside, but then it took a couple days to come back. So I snuck out too. I went to a. I know. I went to tavern to see if they had seen you. They know where you were. And I overheard some people at the bar talking about Dad and you and well, they weren't talking about Dad very well. And at that point, I didn't really know anything. I thought everyone loved us. and they said something about how you were helping the rebellion, and Dad found out somehow. Uh, so I went back home and I asked Dad about it. Yeah. So he didn't take it well. We got into a little fight. And he, by the end of it, he dragged me up to my room and said, "You were," his exact words were, something about you being expendable.
You actually fought Father?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, I don't know much about after I disappeared, but before that, I'm kind of in charge around here. It wasn't how I expected it to happen at all, and I'm very grateful for the position, but, it started really small. It started off with just sneaking kids candy out of the castle. You know, we always had so much. I remember there was this one little beggar child, and I wanted to help more than we already were, and so I started sneaking out and helping her, and then eventually she led me to her parents, who were rightfully so very unhappy with the tyrannical way that King Canterbury was running things. And so I started going out more. And I was so careful every time. There's a great sewer system under the castle, still is, that it's really easy to navigate. Not very dangerous if you're quick enough. But one night I snuck out and went to my usual spot, and there were a bunch of guards there. And I tried to get away, but they noticed me and brought me to the king. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember a lot of what happened that night. I remember at one point he picked up his sword, though. And I don't know, I wasn't fast enough. He has this new, I had issues, I think, with my mobility. It felt like everything in my body had just locked up at once, and I wasn't able to move until I was. And moved almost kind of scratched near her scar. Almost there. Not quite, though. I ran, and I ran down here, and I got a lot of help. I've been doing a lot of training, you know, getting faster and trying to make sure that next time I'll be able to run, and I'll be able to help other people to run. But it was about a month later when we heard that you had died. And it was so confusing and strange. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at getting in and out of places unnoticed, so we spent a lot of time wondering who could have told Father, who could have tipped him off. In my cowardice, I don't know. You're one of the only people I told, and he has a way of getting in your head, even if you don't expect it, and just twisting things, even when you're not in his reach. And
You don't need to apologize. I know what it's like.
I doubted you, and I shouldn't have. So I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. It's Dad. We know what he can do. How did they say that I died? I'm just kind of curious.
They said it was glorious. They said you died in battle fighting the rebellion. It was brilliant, actually, in terms of politics. They said the crown prince was struck down in his prime, and that if anyone were to see him, they should take justice on the people that made us look weak. It was brilliant. But I don't know. So, you mentioned an object. You're here looking for something?
It's gonna kind of look to the rest of the tavern.
Yeah, we're actually looking for something we think your father has. Maybe.
I mean, name
Not
it.
sure.
He has everything in the world.
It's something that can potentially reverse the chaos of what's been happening recently. I know you haven't really been touched by it in Clear that much, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We think your dad has it.
Do you have anything more specific? Is it, you're looking for the gold, the treasury, it's difficult to get into, but we've been working on a plan.
Okay, can I make I just want to make like a quick insight check on her, just to like see if she seems sincere about everything, like she's genuinely against the king, etc. Just
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
20 total.
20 total?
Yeah.
Okay. It's strange. She seems trepidatious about the topic. It seems as though she's holding something back, but it doesn't necessarily seem as though her intentions are disingenuous.
Out of character, did we take the item that can identify echoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not really something we can steal very
Is it
easily.
Oh, the throne? That thing's several thousand
No.
pounds. Difficult to move.
So, well, in Dad's sword, he has a small gold gem at the hilt.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
We need it.
I don't know if you were hit in the head pretty hard or something, but he doesn't go to sleep without that thing beside him. There is Look, the treasury is one thing. You want several thousand gold? Sure. You want a painting of one of our great ancestors? Fine, but how are you gonna take away a single sword?
Maddie! Hi, Maddie!
Hello.
Hang on, I gotta get Maddie up on the stream. Give me a second.
Can we catch Maddie up super quick as best we can?
Yeah, you guys do that while I do this.
Okay.
So, Maddie, I can't remember when last you were with us. Were you with us when we got all the magic items from the dude in the hut on the beach? Okay, there was a dude in a hut on a beach. We got some magic items from him, and another thing that he told us was that we needed to collect these stones that are called echoes that are in each of the kingdoms. So right now we're in Clea, which is Augie's hometown, trying to collect the stone that is here. And it is embedded in his father's sword, and we're learning that his father doesn't go anywhere without that sword. So we're sort of trying to figure out how to get in there. And we also met Augie's sister, who's leading the rebellion against his father. The happy family. So we're gonna see if we can work with them, maybe. And that's kind of where we're at. That's the extremely abridged version.
That's very good.
Yeah, Miller has filled me in somewhat.
Okay.
Last time I talked to Miller, I was like, last time we were in a cave, and she's like, you.
Oh my god, that was so long ago.
Last time I played,
Yeah.
we were in a cave. So it's been a hot minute.
What the hell? What cave? Oh, that was the dragon cave. Jesus,
That was the dragon, yeah.
Okay, well,
It's been a minute.
you're here now.
I'm here now.
Oh my god.
Very
Maddie, hi.
Sorry, my friend literally told me yesterday. I was like, "Hey, my car's going into the shop at 11, and I have a hair appointment at 11:30. I'm split dyeing my hair," and I was like, "Okay, we'll be done by 4:30." She's like, "Yeah, no," and we were 30 minutes away, and I got home, and my parents are like standing outside. They're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm an hour late for D&D. Leave me alone."
All right. Well, yes. Okay. So, sword. Yes. Where were we?
Sword.
There's a sword, and it's difficult to get away from.
Nora pipes up and it's like, yeah, well, Augie's very smart and very capable, so I'm sure we'll find a way.
Yeah. No.
Does
No.
that mean
Nope. You're good.
if you found a way into the treasury, is that not part of the palace? Is there a chance we can go in from there?
Well, there's a getting into the palace. We can do that. We can help you all with that. That's not a problem. But getting that sword, I think, might take even the wrath of Helm himself to get that sword away from him. He's not going to leave that sword unless you pry it from his cold, dead hands. He has said so as much. Augie can attest.
Yeah. He loves that thing.
Does he actually sleep with it in his bed?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, he's not the kind of father that, comes in and gives you a kiss goodnight, so we wouldn't really know, but I wouldn't be surprised at all.
The way I see it, we have sort of, three ways to go about this. The first would be to ask, which I have a feeling would go poorly. The second would be to sneak in and try to steal it while he's sleeping or something, which it sounds like could be extremely risky. And the third would be to demand it by force. You said something about next time you face him. Are you planning to face him again? Could the timeline be moved up? You said you learned to be fast, so that next time.
I thought you were talking to Augie. Okay,
No.
cool. I mean, that was kind of more of a last resort thing. I've got my tricks, but I am intelligent enough to know that I'm not strong enough to face him by myself.
You most certainly would not be by yourself. But this is sort of, we're in last resort territory right now. I know that the amalgamation, which is what we're calling it, hasn't affected this city as much as it has others, but the world is fucked right now. And we're there. We need this. So, as much help as you're willing to give, we will take.
You have the full support of the Shattered Gauntlet. As the hilt, I can assure you and promise you that.
Is there a way we could draw your dad to us? I just feel like if we try and infiltrate the castle, which is his grounds, we could be at a disadvantage.
Even when he fights wars, he's tyrannical and obsessed with power. But the thing is, he's a massive fucking coward. There's no way we can take him from his spot. I mean, we could, but there would have to be something very, very strong and impactful to draw him away.
Does your father, what does he care for the most? Does he love his new wife? Is there anything he'd be willing to trade, do you think?
For his sword? Let me put it this way. Augie and I and our other sisters, we were raised as tools. We were nothing more than political bargaining chips and trophies of his conquests. He doesn't care about anything, and if he does care about something, it's his power.
Do you have a
Go ahead.
Do you have a library? I assume you do.
Yes. Yes, we have a wonderful library, but I don't really see how that would be much of a...
Do you know
who runs it? Let me find out.
Sorry.
No. You're so fine. You're so fine. My binder's just over here. 1 second. That would be Keeper of the Books in Clea is Thidra.
Do I recognize the name?
Make a history check.
I'm sorry, I don't have a D&D blah, blah,
You're fine.
I think it's +5, so it would be 21.
Oh yeah. So you don't
+8.
you don't really
Like 24.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you don't really this Thidra isn't like a, how do I explain this? You know, at like company conferences and things like that, how there's multiple companies and things like that. It's not, Thidra isn't really well known by you or your family, but the name is recognizable enough that you recognize it's a smaller, kind of older dwarven man, kind of very bubbly, very stern. At one point, probably like you might have tried to like check a book and like were interested, and he would like whap your hand and put it back because you were messing up the system. Like a little bit strict, but yeah.
Okay. This could be totally wild. just from what I know of palaces and, you know, libraries are more important than people think come first. Notice. What if something happened to the librarian and they needed a new one?
I think we could probably arrange that, although with the Shattered Gauntlet, we don't really like killing.
No. Just, you know, move him somewhere else.
So kidnap him?
Yeah. Nice kidnapping.
If we did
Nice.
if we did get you into the library, what would you do from there?
I mean, I guess I need a job interview, right?
I'm saying even if you got the position, what would you do?
You got a person on the inside, you know? And, librarians are sneaky.
You're not known for your stealth, my love. I'm hesitant to split you away from everyone like that, especially when we know how dangerous this person is.
I'm not suggesting I steal his fucking sword myself, but if you got someone on the inside, it's maybe a way in.
We have a few people on the inside, but they're nothing more than cooks, servants, people that generally work in the council but have very little of consequence. The king tends to keep a very strong grip.
Yeah, Ren, I really don't want to bring a rebellion into another palace and get another load of people killed.
No, that would be something to avoid. Well, listen. It doesn't have to be a war. Can it be focused? Can it be two of the king's children thought dead, announcing their existence and challenging him outright?
That's a lot more loud.
It's loud, but
You guys think you could take him? Like,
Bianca kind of looks at Augie.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if
I think this is a fight we're not going to win through force or loudness.
Do you guys have any festivals or any audiences where the king comes out and talks to the people? Is there any way, any place where he's outside and vulnerable, perhaps?
well, there is a few times that happens, but I don't think you're going to like the sound of any of them.
Go on.
Well, and she kind of stands up at this point and kind of starts pacing back and forth. One of them is if someone is found with magic, that is very much... The unknown scares him, so there tends to be very public executions and hanged and piked properly. There is the more joyous celebration of kind of fighting pits and fighting competitions. He always is a very loud supporter of those. Most of them revolve around death. The last one would be the public funeral of a very powerful member of his inner court. And the last one would be a wedding, but we already had one of those about 2 weeks ago. But with luck, there'll probably be another one in about a month or so.
We don't really have that much time.
I mean, if we don't want to cause a fuss and have Augie and his sister come out and challenge him directly, we need a way to get him out of the palace and in the not in the public eye, but just somewhere where he isn't cloistered up. So, I mean, does somebody show magic? Do we stage some kind of thing there and try and attack him like that? If he's gonna come out for execution, then we can. I mean, I don't like it, but
There is a possibility. He'd like to make a big show of his bravado. A wise poet once said, "An idiot full of sound and fury." That is something I would definitely describe Father with. If he were publicly challenged in front of the entire kingdom, he would be forced to fight. Now, he does not fight fair. That's one thing for sure, but the one weakness he does tend to have is his strong distaste for magic that might have changed recently, but as far as I've known, that's one moral he is always stuck with.
So what are you saying? We need to challenge him with magic? What?
In terms of getting that sword away from him, if we're going to be doing that, I assumed you said one is sneaking, one is asking, and one is force.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one thing he responds to.
I'm guessing also it's not going to be a 5-on-1 situation. That's going to be a 1-on-1 fight.
Augie?
What about this? What about this? What about this? What if we try the sneaking? I can go in, I can get myself caught if it doesn't work.
No.
Listen. I can go in, listen. If it doesn't work, then I'm caught and he wants to execute me. That's when he's at his weakest or whatever, and you can challenge him.
Ren, of all the people in this room, you are not.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
He knows who you are.
Disguise self? I don't know.
I can't disguise you. You'd have to dye your hair again.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think a hair dye is going to help you in this situation.
Bianca takes a second and takes a long look at Ren. Kind of. Now, Augie, I know that you have a very strong moral code, but you could cheat.
How?
Well, we've got quite a few archers. We've got people who are good at staying in the shadows until the right opportunity.
So, we'd just be taking his sword, right?
If that's what you want. He's taken more from either of us, so I think he owes us at least that much, if not more.
What are you saying, Augie? Would you be upset if he was killed?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll do our best to not let that happen, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Shoot a little, I guess.
So what's this look like? You challenge him, get him out in the open in a fight, and then one of us
Say dirty.
fights him, but not kill him. Just how would that work?
It's, I don't know. It's just an idea. It's just, we've been growing our numbers for quite a while now, and we have just enough that if we wanted to make one big movement, we've got one shot with our power. We can grant you that one shot. And if getting the sword is as important as you say, I don't know, I think it's worth it.
So would we storm the palace with your forces? What are you saying?
I'm not much of the planner, but I don't know. I'm more of the face of the rebellion, if anything. Being the kid of the king and being so adamantly against him, it holds weight or something like that.
We need to draw him outside the palace, Ren.
We need a distraction. It's a good one.
Well, he's going
Alice, you are muted. I don't know if you're trying to speak.
Shit, sorry. Yeah, no. I'm saying, I think we have two ways we can do this. We can spread some rumors, draw him out that way, or I have a spell where I can, if I'm familiar with him, which I think I am, just by osmosis, I can send a message to him and draw him out that way directly.
We have a lot of magic users in this party, so
Well, that's fun. It's cool. You don't see a lot of magic users around here, so it's pretty cool.
are we likely to, well, in which case, are we likely to be under threat from anyone else in the town?
being magic users.
Magic users, as far as I know, you will not find any magic users in this town that will have an issue with overthrowing the king.
Non-magic users, are we going to get beaten up before we can even get the king out to us?
That's fair. There is something, a very recent development. Kyrus. Augie, you remember Kyrus?
Yeah.
He's been missing for the past couple of weeks, and this new guy I've never seen before stepped in.
Sorry, who are we talking about?
Kyrus, he's sort of like my dad's right-hand man.
I don't know much about this new guy, but from what I've heard, it's not good news. And if he's switching things around, who knows what that could mean for the rest of us.
We've heard that Dad has been recruiting magic users?
I
I think so. Is that right?
I don't think it's magic users.
I just want to see you recruiting.
I think he was just enlisting people.
He's definitely been enlisting people.
Okay.
Not magic users. Not him. I don't remember if I've said that someone else is recruiting magic users, but definitely not King Canterbury.
Gotcha. Okay.
So let's think about the pieces that we need in place. We want him out of the castle. We're agreed on
Right.
that. We need to do this by force. There's not really another way. We have a rebellion at your command. So
Yes.
Forces if need be. And we have people who are sneaky if we need to cheat. So
Yes.
And we have a lot of magic.
we do have a lot of magic. So we could draw him out by announcing the presence of 2 of his children and saying that they want to meet him in whatever square at whatever time, and spread that rumor so that everyone knows that if he doesn't show up, he is seen as a coward. It sounds to me like his pride means a lot to him, so it sounds like he would be forced to show up. He shows up, no doubt, with several dozen guards. We need to draw him away from the guards somehow, or make them useless, or something.
Well, there's a bit of a tradition with Clea. Anyone at any point is able to challenge the current ruler for the throne through combat. If that is the case, the guards are specifically told not to interfere and are there merely as spectators for whoever the combatant is.
I'm assuming this is a fight to the death,
Yes.
which Augie is not comfortable with, and which I would rather not also be into. It could just be an excuse. We want to fight you to. Augie wants to fight you to the death for the crown. It's really just a reason to get him out there, to get the guards off his back, long enough for us to. I don't know. Do we have hold person? Does anyone have hold person?
I do.
Maybe we could hold person him.
What does hold person do?
It paralyzes. It sounds like maybe what was happening to you when you were fighting him. It paralyzes you until you can break out of it.
What kind of is your dad?
Sorry, what kind of what?
What kind of fighter?
He hits hard.
So
Is he more? Like what is his choice of weapon? Does he use like a spear? Is he more of a hammer type of person?
Great sword.
Great sword. Okay. Does he have a shield on him? Usually or no?
Usually.
does he fight with like finesse, or is he more of a hit it till it's dead kind of guy?
Definitely a hit it till it's dead.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds like he's a barbarian.
I don't think, while he is barbaric, I don't know if he... The one thing that's strange is that he never gets angry. It's always quiet and cold.
Just a fighter, maybe. That is strange.
Regardless, if he has no knowledge of magic or how to fight it, you need a pretty powerful magic user.
Well,
Can 2 people challenge him? Or
I don't know if I've never heard of such a thing, but
because if 2 people can challenge him, we need one with brute strength and one with magic. someone to fend him and hold him off while the other uses magic to subdue him so they can get the sword.
Well, I don't think they necessarily need to be challenging him. They just need to be present for the fight. You can cast hold person from the sidelines, right?
Here's the thing: if anyone else gets involved, what's to stop the guards from attacking?
Exactly.
As soon as more than one gets involved, then the challenge is nil.
I mean, maybe we could goad him into it. We could say, "Oh, you're so powerful. Do you think you can't take on 5 of us?" Like, I don't know. He might. If he's that proud,
I know
he
he's still a
go
king.
for it.
That's stupid.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for public humiliation. We get him there. We say, well, actually, we're more interested in an oligarchy. This is a panel of rulers. We're all going to fight you. What do you say? Is he really going to back out?
That's a lot of assumptions on his just behavior.
He's very prideful, though. Playing into that pride might be the right way to go.
Wait, if he thinks that you two are dead, he's certain that you two, or at least
he knows that I'm alive.
He knows I'm alive as well.
Well, never mind. There goes that idea.
Well, all ideas are important.
The idea was that someone would challenge him and then bring you two in, almost as a sort of a distraction of seeing his children kind of going against him, so that there was enough time to at least get the sword.
Nora kind of like whispers to Ren so that Bianca can't hear. Is there a way to use our status as, from your families to our advantage here?
I was just thinking that someone from the Angarlan family might wish to rule clear.
Or someone with information about the family?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Or someone with information about the family?
What information are you thinking we could use?
Like if I was to tell him that I knew that one of the members of the Angarlan family were alive and he had to meet me to hear about it and trade that information with a sword.
Then what? You lie? Or I fight him? I like that idea. I think that
Is there a way to wipe memories?
do you have any like level 10 bards in the rebellion? Because eventually.
Magic uses here.
We have a healer.
We could hit him really hard on the head and hurt.
I don't want to give that type of information if it's going to put you in danger, but it's...
No. We could send Oscar with my Garland crest ring or something as like proof that I'm here or that you know where I am. Or we could use this somehow.
This is a whispered, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. You guys you're good. Actually, can you roll just like stealth checks? Like if it was just like a one quick whisper thing, but this is turning into conversation. So
10, so Nora's probably getting a little bit more frantic, like
25.
All right. Cool. You guys are good. You can continue.
Okay. I don't know.
You could say that you know of a rebellion force led by the remaining Angarlan. and you can give him information on it if he meets you alone somewhere. Would that ever work? It could. I don't know.
It could if he sees my face and then I'm just like a tiny, puny little girl. You know, might not be threatened, and then we could ambush him.
How would you deliver this message? I was imagining we would send off something that, if shot with an arrow, can come back to life, as opposed to a human girl.
Maybe we could send a note with the ring with Oscar.
That's what I'm thinking.
Going to meet us somewhere.
Draw him somewhere. We can talk to the rebellion about where might be a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe I'm actually there, and he's not going to stay if it's just a lie. Maybe I'm actually there, we get him off guard, thinking he's achieved something.
Well, it wouldn't be a lie. I do know you.
Well, yes, but if he shows up and it's just you and you've got nothing, he's going to leave immediately.
That's what the whole point is. I have the information where you are.
In that room.
He just doesn't know it's down an alleyway waiting to, with the rest of the rebellion. But it could be a way to draw him out.
Yeah.
But, Ren, using that plan reveals yourself to these guys.
Yeah, I think that only works if he either doesn't remember, is blackmailed into not speaking of it, or is unable to speak of it. I mean, we could blackmail him with the continued existence of his children if he proclaimed dead.
I don't know if he'd care much if everyone found out.
Well, if he was touting this narrative that the rebellion had killed his precious son, you should all be angry about it. Suddenly his son is alive. That was all a lie. That would be a knock to his power.
Maybe there's something else that Augie and Bianca can think of to hold over him.
Do we trust this organization with my identity?
I'll be honest, I don't trust any revolution anymore, okay?
Do we trust Bianca?
No. But I don't trust anyone, so...
Do we trust them enough with this?
I trust you and your judgment, and I trust Augie. That's where I'm going.
Why don't we ask to sleep on it and talk as a party with no one else listening about it tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, well, actually, what time is it, DM? Are we going to ask to go to bed at 3 p.m.?
It's like 5.
Okay.
We should reconvene tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been
About it.
a long and very strange day. I think some dinner, a good night's rest, and at dawn we plan.
Absolutely. If you'd like, I can rally some of each of our different sects of the organization together, leaders, and we can meet and formally form a plan, if that is what you all want.
That might be helpful, yeah.
All right. We can provide dinner. I wouldn't recommend going out currently, especially with, no offense, but you all are wearing very colorful garments that's very easily draw attention.
Where would you recommend we sleep tonight?
We have a few spare rooms if you're all right with sharing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call someone in to help you find the appropriate places and make sure that you get some food if that's acceptable. Okay. So you kind of see as she steps out into the hallway for a few moments, and then a little bit later, a man, the same man that you saw previously in chains that was dragged before you, face is much cleaner now, has a very annoying kind of smirk on his face, looks very cocky, very very triangular kind of face, with pinkish skin that looks like it's recently been scrubbed. And he steps in and kind of leans on the doorframe and goes, "Well, hi, I'm to be your chauffeur, your bellman, whatever you'd like to call me. The name is Twerb. Pleasure to meet you all."
How do you spell that?
TWOORB. Twerb.
Hi, Twerb. I'm Augie.
Kind of does the thing where he like claps your hands together as he gives it like a little bit too vigorous of a shake and goes, "Pleasure to meet you. You know, I didn't doubt for a second that you were gonna not kill me, so thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it."
Well, thanks for thinking I wouldn't kill you.
Yeah, I could see it in your eyes. No worries. So you want some grub? You want some sleep? Both sound amazing right now. Let me show you around, and takes you off back into that main area where the trial took place, now deserted. Most of the chairs have been stashed away as well, you notice, and brings you around to the opposite side and brings you into a large room, actually. It's a single one that has about 10 sets of bunk beds that are all not filled currently. You are the only people in here, and goes, yeah, this is where we place the new recruit for the time being. Hope that this will be to your liking. You are fortunate. Some of our newer people just moved up and got their own rooms, so for now, space all to yourself.
Perfect.
All right. Do you want to sleep for a while, or do you want to go grab food super quick? I can also bring you food here.
If you wouldn't mind food here, that would be really handy.
Absolutely. I can do that for you. And kind of fades out of the room. Yeah, kind of just... He's got a lot of confidence for a guy named Twerb. So yeah, he's gone for about 10 minutes or so before he comes back, kind of balancing all these things and places them down in front of you. There's a small, what looks like a roasted bird of some kind with some green looking peas and a bread roll that kind of sits there. It looks a bit hard and tough. But it had, and also brings this pot of tea that has this amazing fragrant smell. It's just very aromatic and smells almost like a field of flowers, and how it's got like perfect little notes of different kind of floral scents. And goes, "All right, well, if you'd be needing anything else,
we'll let you know."
Yeah.
Thanks. Augie's gonna take just a gold.
He takes it and says, "Pleasure doing business with you. You know, if you need anything else during your stay here, just let me know. You know, beck and call. I'm very, very attentive. So if you need anything else, let me know." Okay, by the way, just shut the door.
She shuts the door and kind of like rests her forehead on the door for a minute, like softly. Like, still has it.
Because you're close enough, you kind of hear him go like, yes.
I don't know. I don't know about that guy, but I like him. He seems cool.
Can Ren do a little loop of the room and just make sure there's no, like, I don't know, creepy ways people could be listening or watching us?
Sure, yeah, make an investigation check. And while you do that, I would just like to let you know his full name is Gregory Tworb. And he is an asshole.
Gregory.
I love him.
It's a
Why does-
17.
Why doesn't he go by Greg or something like that?
Because why not?
Because
That's fair. I do have some friends that go by their last names.
17. There's one place that looks like there's loose paneling, and you're actually able to see that there is a rock that you can shift out, and there seems to be a hollowed place, but it is currently empty.
It's just
And
like a
other
hiding
than that-
place.
Maybe. It doesn't look. It looks as though maybe there was something there previously that is now no longer there.
But it's not like a tunnel.
No, it's not like you open it up and then like young Frankenstein bookcase just like.
Good.
It's where they
Alright.
stash their alcohol.
I can't say tunnel without saying it like Schmeagol, like tunnel. Anyway, so the reason we wanted to sort of pause on the planning was that we have some ideas that we wanted to talk about with just us before we share. So
Sat with her back against the door still, by the way. She just kind of like slid down the door and is sat in case.
yeah, and this whole time Ren is listening for anyone like pausing in the hallway to listen or anything like that. Like paranoid as hell. Always. So bear in mind my passive wisdom is 17, so any motherfucker you can buy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're past percent. Occasionally, every now and then, as you're listening, you hear kind of footsteps that echo down the hall. At one point, you hear what sounds like two girls kind of like and like laughing together as they go, but it doesn't sound. You don't hear anyone like come up to the door and then just be like listening in.
That's what I'm listening for. Okay. So it occurred to Nora and it occurred to me that the last living Engarlin may be something of value to the king. We were thinking Nora could send him a note with my signet ring, telling him maybe either she's captured the last Engarlin or she knows where he is, and try to lure him somewhere so that she can give him that information. And we ambush him, or possibly even just have a conversation with him. I don't know. We were thinking we could, maybe you know something better, Augie, but we were thinking we could blackmail him and say, you give us that sword, or we tell everyone that you lied about the deaths of your children. I don't know how strong that blackmail is, but it's a thought. What do you think?
Well, obviously, I don't like the idea of telling him that you're alive.
Neither do I, but if it's one of the tools that we can use, and if we can ensure his silence with information used against him, then it's. I mean, we're trying to save the world. I think it's worth it.
Okay. I really don't like that idea.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
like any of those.
I know. I'm not sure. He already knows that you and Bianca are alive.
Mm-hmm.
telling him where you are as a way to draw him out will draw him out with guards, because he'll be expecting you to try to overthrow him, I imagine. Why else would you be back in his mind? I think, I don't know, this could be a way to draw him out in a more vulnerable way. I'll only tell you if you come alone.
Okay.
We just need to figure out how to stop him from passing on that information without killing him.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
My worry with that, with trying to get him out by himself, is that, do you really think he will? Do you think he honestly, if he's that much of a coward, will anything get him out vulnerably? The chances are he'll have a decoy, he'll have guards stationed. I can't imagine he'll come alone in any circumstances. And
Yeah.
the benefit of having it all out in the open is, if he is a cheat and he's dishonorable, then everyone will see it in a trial by combat. I think the king's more dangerous if you try and get him alone.
The issue I have with the trial by combat is we either do it with the genuine intention of going through with it, or we ourselves cheat, and that doesn't look good for Augie, that doesn't look good for that rebellion, and it also kind of blows their chance at actually wresting him from the throne. And with an entire city watching, it might be difficult to part him from his sword without killing him.
Well, we're not killing Augie's dad, okay?
Does he need to die?
No.
No, I mean realistically. Like, realistically.
Augie, no one ever needs to die.
You know, it would probably hurt him more to be held prisoner. I think he'd like that less. You know, if whatever way we do this, if we end up beating him, if you end up beating him, you don't have to kill him, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But you can show the people, you can show yourself that you're a better man than he is.
Okay.
I mean, if his rule is so awful, then maybe people won't be sad that he's gone if you do a trial by combat. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying, if there's discontent already, you might have more people in your corner than you think.
Okay. Okay. I'll think about it, I guess.
We've got several options here. Is there a way of even getting the magic field back on site? Could they get here in time? We can contact them, but the magic guild, like, do they have a transportation circle that they could get here? Do you know? They might even have a spell that would wipe his memory and that would hit, but I don't know.
Could we send a message to them and ask?
Maybe.
Could we get someone from the Magic Guild? Does anyone from the Magic Guild know how to wipe a memory? Because if we can wipe his memory, then the covert method may actually work, and you may not have to face him that way. What do you think, Alice? Tam.
Every fucking time, man.
It's always Tam and Alice.
I don't know why. I think it's because they both have like
Okay. Wait,
Um,
I have question. You guys are doing great, by the way. You guys are doing so good planning. What memory are you attempting to modify with this? Or
His
His
memory.
memory. We tell him about Ren.
okay. Anyone proficient in Arcana, make an Arcana check for me.
Am I proficient in Arcana? Let's find out.
Yeah.
I'm
20.
pretty sure I am. Let me just
I have like +8 to all magic now.
Dang.
I got a 22.
Whoa. Oh, did we get our weapons back?
Oh, yes, you would have gotten those. Yeah.
Good.
You would have gotten all your stuff. Yes. Wait, so what was the highest roll?
22.
22. Okay. So Val, you've in your training, you know that at one point your mentor mentioned a concept of memory, and kind of in the questions that were brought up about getting rid of certain memories or trying to wipe things in the recesses of your mind. You and Shar, both of you share this knowledge of the modified memory is a relatively higher level spell. And the higher you cast it, the longer it takes to, like, the longer you can affect something. So, like, at 6th level, you can do it for, like, up to a week. At 7th level, you can do it up to a month. At 8th, you can do it up to a year. And then 9th, you can do it at any point, like, whenever the memory took place. It can also be removed by a greater restoration or a remove curse spell. So that will restore the true memory. So
Remove
just
curse,
a
you said?
note that it's
Not foolproof.
it's not foolproof. Basically, you know that it's not foolproof. It is also a wisdom save. So if he succeeds on a wisdom save, it will not take effect.
Just a thought. Could we not just like get a magic? If a Magic Guild member can do this, can we not get them over and then just get them to cast it on the king and say, "Hey, you agreed to give your sword to your son, and you were content about it."
Put a jester on him.
Sorry.
I don't know if you've seen that episode of Critical Role, but yeah, I like that.
I mean, you could hold on. You could charm him.
I don't know.
That's also a wisdom throw.
Not that Ren knows what that is.
Yeah, not that Ren has any idea what this throw is.
I can zone of truth him.
Listen, I can meditate on it tonight and do some, divination stuff. See how maybe these options can play out.
Okay.
If we're looking for something to draw him out, specifically, and since we are in Clea, and I bet he's probably heard of the Hanged Slicer, considering this is where he's from. So, if the Hanged Slicer was caught and put up for public execution, that could be a way to get him out of the palace.
It could work.
No, you're not in your own body. You're sacrificing Val's body for this.
It's not like I would die. I mean, like I wouldn't. It'd probably be stopped.
You're not gonna make decisions like that without Val's consent.
I think also the idea that we have already is more private. We wouldn't have to have a public execution where we're casting spells on the king. It would be in a room with us. Hopefully, all goes right. Or an alley. We can figure out those details later. But yeah, I mean.
Okay, well, first things first, do you want me to message the Magic Guild and ask?
Sure. Yeah, but we know my dad doesn't play fair. Do you really think he's gonna come to an alleyway and not have us completely surrounded?
Here's my thought. Trying to meet someone covertly, even if you are lying and bringing backup, that backup is going to be compromised compared to meeting someone face on. The backup is going to be hiding. It'll be like we can have your sister's forces subdue the guards or something while we're talking to him.
Salute.
Also, Maddie, that was a really good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it on the back burner, just
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
It's in our toolbox.
It is in the toolbox.
Well, the characters just shut you down. I'm like, but Maddie, that was great.
Yeah.
That was a good idea. Okay.
It's similar to like Augie being like, I don't think we need to kill my dad. When I fully know Miller wants
Oh, Miller wants this man dead so badly.
Miller wants him dead so
God.
bad, you guys.
I want him gone. Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
sorry.
No. I mean, yeah. Let's go with this plan, I guess.
Which one are we going with first? What's
Uh,
the ranking here? First option, second option, third option. Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C.
which plan were you talking about, Miller?
I was just talking about telling Augie's dad about Ren and then talking to him in an alley.
So Plan A
Yeah.
is that, and then Plan B would be trial by combat,
Yeah.
and then Plan C is mine.
Execution, yeah.
I mean, I'd rather try the library option over executing Val. Maybe they're on equal footing. We'll see. We got a couple.
Yeah.
What about we'll do Plan C.1 and Plan C.2?
Sure.
I can't really see a scenario where we fail even Plan A and have a chance at Plan B or C. I think it's sort of a one-shot thing.
Yes, but I mean, like bringing it up tomorrow. Be like, these are the options that we've come up with. Choose wisely.
Again, how are we gonna go ahead with Plan A?
Yeah.
So
Inform the rebellion of who you are.
we could just tell them that we have a piece of information we know that he would be interested in. We're confident in that, and we don't tell them what it is.
That's a lot for them to trust their one big shot. They've been working really hard at
Maybe
dismantling
Augie
this,
could
and we're
convince-
saying you need to trust us on a piece of information we can't tell them. I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be happy with that.
I think if Augie can convince Bianca, she's their leader.
Sure, but not even that. They're gonna be. If we're gonna have him as backup, they're gonna be there when we're talking to him. They're gonna hear it.
Well, I imagined that we could be the ones talking to him. They could be the ones doing the guards around us, which I imagine won't be directly with him if he's claiming that he's alone. I don't know. I mean, we have to be open to the possibility that they will find out through this plan.
Yeah.
it's entirely possible that we will leave and several people will know of my existence who did not before. In terms of what we do with him, I like the idea of a charm person. I think it's more likely to work than pure blackmail. We could try the blackmail first. Be like, we know that your children are alive, it's held in custody, blah, blah, blah. And if it doesn't work, then we charm person. And then after everything, we modify memory, and that gives us a week to get out of here, so we can't face me.
We don't have to tell him you're alive. We could tell him that something about your family per se. We don't have to give him the whole truth. We can give him half of the truth.
We could just say that there is a remaining guy then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to be like, it's our boy Ren. No, we can just be like, we know that one exists. Do we know where he is? No, but we know there is one remaining family member left.
I don't know if he's gonna. I think that might be too vague for him to be interested in enough to get him out of the castle.
I think combined with a note and a signet ring, it's pretty foolproof. It's gonna catch his interest.
And if he doubts your source, you could say, well, I had someone who worked close to the family, so I would know that,
I am the source. I'd be the one speaking to him. Soon.
Exactly. You could be like, I was I worked there. I know what they look like.
I think our biggest concern is getting him there. I think once we get him there, the shit will hit the fan pretty quickly. I think we just need to focus on, I don't know, tempting him as best we can.
Yeah.
A note and a ring sent with Oscar. That is a thought.
Yeah, that should be enough to, especially with the ring, I think it'll be enough to draw him out.
The ring implying that you, Nora, have been in contact with or something.
Know of the location, yeah.
Know of the location of somebody from I'm not going to pronounce the name because I'm going to screw it up. Family.
Yeah.
Anguillan.
If he wants to know the location of the last Anguillan, he needs to come and meet me, and I need something in return. If he refuses to hand it over or tries to fight, then we need to attempt to charm him or fight him. Augie, we will do everything in our power to keep him alive, but it may not go that way. You know that, right?
Yeah. Kind of getting that now, so.
We have 2 layers of plans between us and actually having to do it. So we'll do everything we can before we actually resort to violence.
I know.
I think first point of call is to send a message to Tam.
See if we can modify memory with someone from the guild.
Spell or a magical item or something maybe I could learn, anything.
Right. Okay. She's gonna send a message to Molly.
Okay. What would you like to say?
I'd like to say how many
20 words, right?
How many words do I have?
25
words. Yeah.
I'm not going to be super strict on that.
Cool.
So,
right, that's fine.
unless that would be
send
more fun for you all to be
more
super
than
strict on
one.
that.
Nah, it's fine. I don't want to count. I'll send more than one if I need to. Hey, Nally. Hope everything is well. Can you come to Clea if we need it? And do you have someone who can modify memory? We're fine. Don't worry about us. But Yeah, we just need to know. Thank you.
Hugs and kisses.
Trying to remember. It's been so long since I've done her accent.
The gossip time.
You know you love me. She takes, there's a few moments, like a brief pause before she responds. Oh, hi Tam. I believe Loris has tree stride. However, us as a guild are not allowed into Clear. So we'd have to be discreet. Unsure about the modify memory. I will check with others. That might have been 25 words, I'm not quite sure. But that's kind of the general gist.
Yeah, Tam will just reply and say, all right, thank you. I'll call again in the morning and let you know if we need you. I hope everything is okay. Miss you.
She responds, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad to hear at least that you all are alive. There have been developments. Just be cautious.
Cool. I'll leave it at that. So I don't have any more third level spell slots, so I'm done. Tam will just say to the group, they have someone who can come, but we'd have to be discreet because they're not allowed here, obviously. She's gonna check if they have modify memory, and it sounds like she sounded worried. She sounded like she had something she wanted to say, but she didn't say it. She just told us to be careful.
Okay. Well, we'll keep trying not to die. Okay, so we'll get in touch with her in the morning before we see everyone else and figure out memory stuff.
Look, I can always do charm person. It's not very strong, but
Yeah.
if they don't have anything, then we've got that.
I just have a question. What is our plan going to be if my dad doesn't show up? If he sends someone else? Because that is a very big possibility. You know, as Bianca said, he's a coward.
Yeah, well, he doesn't get the information he wants. We leave until it is him who shows up.
Hostage is a very viable option here. You could just keep him until we get him.
Hold them hostage, whoever he sends.
Okay. I don't know who that is anymore. So I don't know how much of a threat this new guy is.
Well, the scenario we're painting here is that it's just me with the information. If he sends someone else, I'm not going to tell him. They're not going to kill me, I hope, because then they won't have anything. It's possible they may try and take me to him.
But that's why we have reinforcements there, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we kind of shoot a plan in the foot if we reveal ourselves that way, but I guess then we reconvene. I'm hoping he's smart enough to know that if he sends someone else, he won't get the information.
All right. Sure.
Right. Well, I think we need to have some dinner. Right. We just eat and sleep and I don't know.
Bring dinner.
Yeah, you all have dinner. It's getting slightly. You look down to your rapidly cooling down cooked bird, vegetable, and bread roll with tea.
Gobble that up.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's when you're sitting at a restaurant and it's been sitting out for too long, like it's a little cooled down a bit. Ren, you kind of push the bird to the side. The peas are decent, you know. This isn't top quality hotel, like 5-star restaurant food, but it's food.
Augie doesn't eat any of it. Does not have an appetite.
Okay. All right. Being cognizant of time, I know it's late, so I want to present to you two options. We can either stop here and we can pick up next time for planning with the general group and going forward with a plan. Or if you want to, we can push it a bit later. We can maybe take like a quick break here and jump to planning and finish the planning all in this session. And then next session, we can probably implement all the plans. Which one sounds better to you guys?
I leave it up to the UK people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
It's only 7:00 here. I'm not going to bed till midnight. So like, I got all the time in the world, man.
Oh, Jess?
I had like a 3-hour nap quite recently, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I can push
Alice,
through.
I'm totally fine if you want to like.
No, I'm good.
But I
can push
would
through.
mind a break.
Yeah,
I
break.
would.
Yes, a break sounds wonderful.
Yes.
I am hungry.
Okay, so
I'm
we're gonna
just
take
so
like a
sad.
nice 10-minute
Yeah, me
break.
too.
Yeah.
And we will be right back. Yeah. All right. So see you guys soon.
Right.
The story of our group begins at sea. An elven ranger called Ren and his human companion Nora the wizard had been travelling together for some time, whilst Augie, a human paladin, was journeying alone. They soon met a cheery half-orc bard known as Tam, who was working on the ship. As the group began to make conversation, they heard a sound from below deck, and after some investigation, discovered a tiefling druid stowaway called Val. Suddenly, they were alerted to a commotion above, as a number of passengers and crew began to climb over the sides of the ship straight into the ocean, compelled to jump to their deaths by a hypnotic sea creature called a rusalka. The newly formed group banded together and defeated the creature. Upon reaching the city of Valashi, they began to explore. They met Mimi, an upbeat seamstress, and Tony, a Rakshasa sorcerer who owned an illicit store selling magical items. Illicit because only members of the local Magic Users Guild had permission to perform magic. Later that evening, the group attended a lively festival where Nora encountered a half-elf sorcerer named Gnarly. The evening took a dark turn where the group stumbled across a rotting corpse and were promptly arrested by the authorities. Unable to provide any information, the group was confined to a cell where they met a grumpy prisoner called Axel. Suddenly, the dungeon walls exploded inwards and everyone was broken out by the Thistlewinds, Axel's band of criminal friends. Now on the run, the two groups joined forces on a particular mission to steal a special vase from the mad wizard Giltree. Upon breaking into Giltree's home, they found a large beast called a quaggan guarding the vase. The sluggish creature called itself Fu and talked only in riddles. In frustration, Ren threatened Fu with an arrow, successfully prompting the quaggan to move out of the way, but he immediately felt guilty for threatening such an innocent creature. Taking pity on Fu, the group decided to help it escape the wizard's irresponsible custody. When the mad wizard returned home, the gang defeated him together, and Fu took his revenge by eating him whole. Val the tiefling had a strange turn that caused her to be unusually aggressive towards the group, and made her eyes glow blood red. But it passed as quickly as it came. Our group then followed the Thistlewinds to deliver the vase to a mysterious benefactor. They were led to a spooky underground lair where they met the terrifying Black Widow until she was revealed to be Gnarly, the sorceress in disguise. The Thistlewinds were actually members of the Magic Users Guild, and Axel was Gnarly's twin brother in disguise as well. The events had taken place since the prison break, had
been a test to see if the group were eligible to join the guild, and surprisingly they had passed. Our group were then told they could either face arrest, be sentenced to prison, or join the Magic Guild, so they chose the latter. They all then made their journey to the guild headquarters, where they were given lodgings and met other eccentric members of the organisation. The momentary peace did not last long, however. The gang awoke on their first morning at the guild to find Ren had left them, leaving behind only a letter addressed to Nora. He told her that she was free of any servitude she felt towards him and that she should continue on with their newfound friends. Ren was soon found unconscious in the garden, having succumbed to a dangerous disease known as a blackened dream, which could only be cured with an ether flower from the Feywild. So Nora, accompanied by Augie, Tam and Val, journeyed to the Feywild via a special portal to bring back the cure. They met an ally named Carly in the Feywild who guided them to the Forest of Contrast, where they battled against 4 giant wood lice before finally finding what they sought. They returned to the guild only just in time to save Ren, who had been experiencing vivid fever dreams in a hell of his own. When he finally awoke, Ren and Nora spoke for a long time and we learned more about their history, and thanks to some very unsubtle eavesdropping from Augie and Tam, the rest of the group did too. It was revealed that Ren is the youngest son of the Anguillan family, cruel nobles who had previously ruled over the northern city of Highgash, until they were violently overthrown some years before. Nora had been working as a family librarian at the time and helped Ren escape the night the Anguillan house fell. The pair had been on the run ever since and had fled south, as far from their homeland as possible. They were anxious to keep their identities hidden, and their fellow party members promised to keep their secret. The gang still needed to figure out who had cursed Ren with the disease that nearly killed him. He informed the group that before being struck down in the garden, he remembered an old woman approaching him who was not part of the guild. He also recalled from his fevered dream an elven woman with black skin and white hair who had said, "Find me, where the land and the sea meet the north and the snow." After some intense research, they discovered that the woman might have been Lady Silverhair, a drow goddess of moonlight beauty, singing and dancing. Her chaotic evil brother, also known as the Lord of Shadow, was a drow deity of shadow magic and thievery. Both deities were involved in a battle among the gods. However, an important page was torn from the book, halting their research any further. The group discussed the possibility of following the strange words of the drow goddess and travelling north, but they knew how dangerous it would be for Nora and Ren. As Ren grew more and more restless, confined within the guild headquarters, the group made the decision to take on a new mission. Their task was to infiltrate and disband an animal smuggling ring that had been active for about a year, selling magical animals on the black market. The group they sought was a 2-day ride away, so the gang travelled into Valashi once more to purchase horses, and through comically bad insight they ended up buying 2 giraffes instead. The group then began the pursuit of these smugglers. Ren scouted ahead to find the smugglers' camp, which included cages and cages of magical beasts in their sleeping form of the smugglers. Ren managed to unlock the cage of a great black stag named Moroth. However, the now awake smugglers ambushed the group and a brutal fight ensued that nearly resulted in the deaths of both Tam and Augie. However, Val used her druid magic to change forms into a wolf and ruthlessly attack the enemies, assisted by the black stag. Yet Val did not seem in control of her druid form and also ended up attacking Tam, her blood-red eyes returning again. The gang eventually killed all of the smugglers except for a scout who they took prisoner and one other smuggler who escaped along with the group's 2 giraffes. Ren and Nora returned to the smugglers' camp to free the rest of the magical creatures, but one of these creatures, a harpy, flew back to where the others rested and slit the scout's throat. Determined to get the giraffes back, the group rested and then pursued the remaining smuggler. They came across an arcane doorway, and after some debate about how to continue, leading to some inner-party tension, they entered to find a vast underground cavernous city called the Underbrush. Just as they began to explore the city, they met a chirpy halfling barbarian named Neda, who was on a quest to retrieve her lost memories. With some difficulty, they were able to locate a large crystal in the centre of the city that had magical properties, which gave Neda her memories back. Once the group had left the cavern, Ren stealthed back and touched the crystal himself, reliving painful memories that left him visibly shaken. The group then found lodgings and explored the city some more, and around this time they also settled on a name for their company, the TAVRN Alliance. While walking through the streets of the underbrush, Nora attracted a great deal of attention. Apparently she looked a great deal like the king's missing daughter Kayleen, who had been gone without a word for 2 years now. Brushing the stairs aside, TAVRN decided to attend a festival that was happening in the city. Tam and Augie entered a race and tied in first place, while the others explored various activities and games. In an effort to discover more information, Ren showed the crest belonging to the dead scout to a citizen. The citizen then took the crest and left in a hurry. Soon afterwards, the king of the underbrush, Alistair, gave a speech to all in attendance. He had just been given tangible proof by way of a guild crest, the one Ren had passed on, that his beloved daughter Kayleen had returned. Realising the great danger they were in, the group went back to their lodgings to decide what to do next, and after lots of debate and some singing in the rain from Nora, they set out in front of the smugglers' headquarters. After some investigation, they found 2 carts and rails leading to a deep cavern, and after fighting some goblinoid creatures and a fire monster in a dangerous cart journey, they made it to the entrance of the Smugglers' Guild. Upon walking into the group headquarters, the group saw rows and rows and rows of animals in cages, and after some eavesdropping, they made themselves known to a group of guildspeople. A woman named Sarah embraced Nora, calling her Kayleen and saying how pleased she was to have her best friend back. With some quick thinking, Nora went along with it, pretending to be Kayleen, who had amnesia. This group also included an orc named Gilm, who recognised Tam, and he said that he used to adventure with her father. Sarah persuaded the group to follow her to Kayleen's old room, which she hoped would jog her friend's memory. She left to find Kayleen's parents, and the gang knew they needed to figure out a plan and fast. While investigating the room and trying to find out what to do next, a goblin bard named Gilf entered the picture. He immediately saw through Nora's charade and offered to help the group. Tam agreed to trust their mysterious new ally, some more reluctantly than others, and they retired to his quarters. As a courtesan with friends in high places, Gilf offered the group intelligence and support, claiming that their interests aligned. Which brings us up to now. The group are at a crossroads. Will they stay and continue to covertly investigate? Will they capitalise on Nora's resemblance to Kayleen and try to infiltrate the court? Or will they attempt to escape the underbrush altogether? Stay with us on D20 Era to find out. The story of our group begins at sea. An elven ranger called Ren and his human companion Nora the Wizard had been travelling together for some time, whilst Augie, a human paladin, was journeying alone. They soon met a cheery half-orc bard known as Tam, who was working on the ship. As the group began to make conversation, they heard a sound from below deck, and after some investigation, discovered a tiefling druid stowaway called Val. Suddenly, they were alerted to a commotion above, as a number of passengers and crew began to climb over the sides of the ship straight into the ocean, compelled to jump to their deaths by a hypnotic sea creature called a rusalka. The newly formed group banded together and defeated the creature. Upon reaching the city of Valashi, they began to explore. They met Mimi, an upbeat seamstress, and Tony, a Rakshasa sorcerer who owned an illicit store selling magical items. Illicit because only members of the local magic users guild had permission to perform magic. Later that evening, the group attended a lively festival where Nora encountered a half-elf sorcerer named Gnarly. The evening took a dark turn where the group stumbled across a rotting corpse and were promptly arrested by the authorities. Unable to provide any information, the group was confined to a cell where they met a grumpy prisoner called Axel. Suddenly, the dungeon walls exploded inwards and everyone was broken out by the Thistlewinds, Axel's band of criminal friends. Now on the run, the two groups joined forces on a particular mission to steal a special vase from the mad wizard Giltree. Upon breaking into Giltree's home, they found a large beast called a quaggan guarding the vase. The sluggish creature called itself Fu and talked only in riddles. In frustration, Ren threatened Fu with an arrow, successfully prompting the quaggan to move out of the way, but he immediately felt guilty for threatening such an innocent creature. Taking pity on Fu, the group decided to help it escape the wizard's irresponsible custody. When the mad wizard returned home, the gang defeated him together, and Fu took his revenge by eating him whole. Val the tiefling had a strange turn that caused her to be unusually aggressive towards the group, and made her eyes glow blood red, but it passed as quickly as it came. Our group then followed the Thistlewinds to deliver the vase to a mysterious benefactor. They were led to a spooky underground lair where they met the terrifying Black Widow until she was revealed to be Gnarly, the sorceress in disguise. The Thistlewinds were actually members of the Magic Users Guild, and Axel was Gnarly's twin brother in disguise as well. The events had taken place since the prison break, had been a test to see if the group were eligible to join the guild, and surprisingly they had passed. Our group were then told they could either face arrest and be sentenced to prison, or join the Magic Guild, so they chose the latter. They all then made their journey to the guild headquarters, where they were given lodgings and met other eccentric members of the organisation. The momentary peace did not last long, however. The gang awoke on their first morning at the guild to find Ren had left them, leaving behind only a letter addressed to Nora. He told her that she was free of any servitude she felt towards him and that she should continue on with their newfound friends. Ren was soon found unconscious in the garden, having succumbed to a dangerous disease known as a blackened dream, which could only be cured with an ether flower from the Feywild. So Nora, accompanied by Augie, Tam and Val, journeyed to the Feywild via a special portal to bring back the cure. They met an ally named Carly in the Feywild who guided them to the Forest of Contrast, where they battled against 4 giant wood lice before finally finding what they sought. They returned to the guild only just in time to save Ren, who had been experiencing vivid fever dreams in a hell of his own. When he finally awoke, Ren and Nora spoke for a long time and we learned more about their history, and thanks to some very unsubtle eavesdropping from Augie and Tam, the rest of the group did too. It was revealed that Ren is the youngest son of the Angaillan family, cruel nobles who had previously ruled over the northern city of Highgash until they were violently overthrown some years before. Nora had been working as a family librarian at the time and helped Ren escape the night the Angaillan house fell. The pair had been on the run ever since and had fled south, as far from their homeland as possible. They were anxious to keep their identities hidden, and their fellow party members promised to keep their secret. The gang still needed to figure out who had cursed Ren with the disease that nearly killed him. He informed the group that before being struck down in the garden, he remembered an old woman approaching him who was not part of the guild. He also recalled from his fevered dream an elven woman with black skin and white hair who had said, "Find me where the land and the sea meet the north and the snow." After some intense research, they discovered that the woman might have been Lady Silverhair, a drow goddess of moonlight beauty, singing and dancing. Her chaotic evil brother, also known as the Lord of Shadow, was a drow deity of shadow magic and thievery. Both deities were involved in a battle among the gods. However, an important page was torn from the book, halting their research any further. The group discussed the possibility of following the strange words of the drow goddess and travelling north, but they knew how dangerous it would be for Nora and Ren. As Ren grew more and more restless, confined within the guild headquarters, the group made the decision to take on a new mission. Their task was to infiltrate and disband an animal smuggling ring that had been active for about a year, selling magical animals on the black market. The group they sought was a 2-day ride away, so the gang travelled into Valashi once more to purchase horses, and through comically bad insight they ended up buying 2 giraffes instead. The group then began the pursuit of these smugglers. Ren scouted ahead to find the smugglers' camp, which included cages and cages of magical beasts in their sleeping form of the smugglers. Ren managed to unlock the cage of a great black stag named Moroth. However, the now awake smugglers ambushed the group and a brutal fight ensued that nearly resulted in the deaths of both Tam and Augie. However, Val used her druid magic to change forms into a wolf and ruthlessly attack the enemies, assisted by the black stag. Yet Val did not seem in control of her druid form and also ended up attacking Tam, her blood-red eyes returning again. The gang eventually killed all of the smugglers except for a scout who they took prisoner and one other smuggler who escaped along with the group's 2 giraffes. Ren and Nora returned to the smugglers' camp to free the rest of the magical creatures, but one of these creatures, a harpy, flew back to where the others rested and slit the scout's throat. Determined to get the giraffes back, the group rested and then pursued the remaining smuggler. They came across an arcane doorway, and after some debate about how to continue, leading to some inner-party tension, they entered to find a vast underground cavernous city called the Underbrush. Just as they began to explore the city, they met a chirpy halfling barbarian named Neda, who was on a quest to retrieve her lost memories. With some difficulty, they were able to locate a large crystal in the centre of the city that had magical properties which gave Neda her memories back. Once the group had left the cavern, Ren stealthed back and touched the crystal himself, reliving painful memories that left him visibly shaken. The group then found lodgings and explored the city some more, and around this time they also settled on a name for their company, the TAVRN Alliance. While walking through the streets of the underbrush, Nora attracted a great deal of attention. Apparently she looked a great deal like the king's missing daughter Kayleen, who had been gone without a word for 2 years now. Brushing the stairs aside, TAVRN decided to attend a festival that was happening in the city. Tam and Augie entered a race and tied in first place, while the others explored various activities and games. In an effort to discover more information, Ren showed the crest belonging to the dead scout to a citizen. The citizen then took the crest and left in a hurry. Soon afterwards, the king of the underbrush, Alistair, gave a speech to all in attendance. He had just been given tangible proof by way of a guild crest, the one Ren had passed on, that his beloved daughter Kayleen had returned. Realising the great danger they were in, the group went back to their lodgings to decide what to do next, and after lots of debate and some singing in the rain from Nora, they set out on finding the smugglers' headquarters. After some investigation, they found 2 carts and rails leading to a deep cavern, and after fighting some goblinoid creatures and a fire monster in a dangerous cart journey, they made it to the entrance of the Smugglers Guild. Upon walking into the group headquarters, the group saw rows and rows and rows of animals in cages, and after some eavesdropping, they made themselves known to a group of guildspeople. A woman named Sarah embraced Nora, calling her Kayleen and saying how pleased she was to have her best friend back. With some quick thinking, Nora went along with it, pretending to be Kayleen, who had amnesia. This group also included an orc named Gilm, who recognised Tam, and he said that he used to adventure with her father. Sarah persuaded the group to follow her to Kayleen's old room, which she hoped would jog her friend's memory. She left to find Kayleen's parents, and the gang knew they needed to figure out a plan and fast. While investigating the room and trying to find out what to do next, a goblin bard named Gilf entered the picture. He immediately saw through Nora's charade and offered to help the group. Tam agreed to trust their mysterious new ally, some more reluctantly than others, and they retired to his quarters. As a courtesan with friends in high places, Gilf offered the group intelligence and support, claiming that their interests aligned. Which brings us up to now. The group are at a crossroads. Will they stay and continue to covertly investigate? Will they capitalise on Nora's resemblance to Kayleen and try to infiltrate the court? Or will they attempt to escape the underbrush altogether?
And we are back.
Hello, welcome back. So if there is anything else you all would like to do for the night, we can say it now, or we can skip to the next morning.
What is the room situation?
So the room situation is you guys are in a very large room where there are 10 sets of bunk beds. So there's 20 beds. But it is empty. It is sparse except for you all. And it's kind of arranged in like a U shape, like dotting the walls of this room. It's long, kind of like imitating the hallway. But yeah.
It's like a campground.
Yeah.
Like U-shaped type of deal.
Okay. Do we feel like we need watches tonight?
I
I
want to
could set up an alarm, so if anyone comes through the door.
That's a good idea.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, that might be better.
Alright, he's gonna unspool some silver thread, place it across the door frame, and cast alarm!
Okay, you do so.
Yeah.
So in terms of anything waking up in the middle of the night, we'll just use your passive perceptions for that.
Cool.
Yes.
But is there anything else you would like to do before?
Nora's probably just gonna cuddle up pretty close to Ren. Is gonna sleep for a while.
Okay. Like, I should mention, like, these bunk beds, they're like twin size mattresses. So
Ren can just like lean against the wall. He doesn't really sleep, so he can just be like chilling.
Just wanted to. They're not like queen size like bunk beds. Like it's.
Do those exist?
I think
Yes.
so.
I'm gonna pretend that they do to keep myself happy.
I don't know if that's true, but there has to be one somewhere. So, like,
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
So Augie is also gonna, at some point, like try and go to Ren, but then when he sees that Nora's there, he's gonna just go back to his bed.
the party's emotional support rogue.
I love this role so much. I can like roll Nora slightly. Just pile on this twin bed.
No, you can't. Nora turns into a log when she sleeps.
Also,
Rigor mortis.
our thing. I have several Google images, so
Thank you so much.
got that down.
Wait, what?
Twin size or queen size bunk beds are a thing. Jess has
Yes,
proof.
they are.
Write that down in your book of memories. They're real.
My book of memories has 3 pages. There's holes in them. There's some water damage too.
Yeah, Alice and Tam, they kind of look the exact same, and like when you turn them upside down, like you can't really tell.
How can it be such a dumbass?
You're fine.
Okay. Ren will feel bad, but not move Nora because he doesn't want to die.
Val, just for funsies, can you make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Oh, Jesus.
Alrighty then.
You're a druid. You got wisdom.
Yeah, I know. I just
Wisdom
had
to
to
die.
double check.
Cool.
Yup. Yes, hot 15.
Okay. In the middle of the night, just for a second, a brief second, you feel your hand kind of begin to twitch. And you just kind of move around and begin. You watch as kind of claws appear and just kind of dig into the palm a little bit. And just for a moment. And then they release. You kind of wipe off the blood that has now appeared. Go back to bed.
Bless you.
Is Ren awake for that? Does he know?
Your passive perception's 17. It's super like subtle, like it's not. Val doesn't make any noise, doesn't make anything, but like for a second you just get like the slightest like whiff of just like something kind of coppery and acrid for a moment. But then it's gone.
That's comforting.
Go pretend I didn't hear nothing, and I'm gonna wrap my hand bandages. Find some new cloth to rip up in my bag and rewrap.
Yeah. Besides the freshly made ones with the claws, the knuckles on both of your hands are rapidly, like very bruised and kind of scabbing over a little bit.
Nice. Just gonna ignore those and continue wrapping the fresh wound.
All right. You do so. Eventually, it's kind of tight enough. You feel secure and in control for now.
Mother has a question.
No, I'm just gonna say, just starting out. Yeah, Augie will be sleeping, but no, it's fine. It's fine. He's gonna wake up a couple times in the night from like a nightmare or something. But so it's not like a great night's sleep, but he did get like a full night's sleep. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you aren't taking watches. You aren't taking watches, so there is a certain amount of waking up that you're able to do.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Augie's tossing and turning, but that's to be expected. All right. Besides that, the evening draws to a close, and the morning comes. The alarm was not tripped, so you feel secure that no one entered the room through the door. And you all quickly convene for breakfast and then head over Twerb. That is what it is. Twerb. It's a dumb name and I can't remember which one it was. Twerb picks you up and leads you to a similar long room, kind of oblong actually. There doesn't seem to be any real corners in this room, and there is a large similar oblong table that's kind of sitting there with a map sprawled out of a map of the city from an aerial view. And just a note, if you recall, the city itself is kind of a craggly oblong structure with a mountain kind of hill off to one side, and up there, sitting up top, is the fortified castle of Clea. The stronghold, if you so will. So, we can, if you'd like to, we can skip ahead a bit where you've explained the plan to them a bit, or if you'd like to properly explain the plan, we can RP the entire encounter.
Should we have Tam call Melly again first about modifying memories?
Right.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh,
Hi, Nally.
What'd you say?
Nope, you're fine. Yep.
Okay.
Morning. Are you, any word on the mind wipe thing? Also, you said that things had changed and developed. What exactly do you mean?
Okay. Takes a few moments once again to respond. Before stating, yes. I believe that we have a contact that specializes in memory modification, if that's what you need. One could say our funding has been cut a bit. Nothing for you to be worried about right now. Just make sure you stay safe in Clea. And that's it.
It's like the most dangerous place to be right now. We're magic users and Augie's dad is a psychopath. Why should we do that?
Right, good news. They have someone who could possibly do it if we need it. Bad news, it sounds like they've been defunded. It was slightly unclear. But they just told us to be safe, so I don't think there's very much we can do from here.
Money always goes to the sports teams.
I know.
It's such a shame.
Maybe there's just a lot of, bad feelings around magic at the minute due to the, amalgamation shit. They could be taking it out on the guild.
Possible. Okay. someone who specializes in modify memory. Maybe they can do it permanently. That'd be nice.
When can they get here?
I'll ask. All right. Well, Jesus, sorry. My light's falling on me. Yeah, I'll message her again. I'll say, so your contact, can they get here? Is there a time frame? I'm really sorry to sort of pressure you with this. It's okay if not, but yeah, can they get here within the next day?
She responds rather quickly and says, Loris has tree stride, so we'd have to make sure that the contact would be prepared. It would be a matter of getting him inside the castle or wherever you are without being noticed of use of magic. We can get to you within a day.
If the rebellion was able to get us in, I'm sure they can get one person in. So that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
By the way, this is happening like in the room before you're going to the meeting. Okay, just making sure.
Right. I would say, right. It sounds like they can get here within the day. It just will require a bit of planning. But let's just see what this council of people have to say, and if they think that a charm person or just blatant negotiation will be enough, then we can just stick with that, and if not, we'll talk to Nolly again.
Yeah, ideally we would have the modify memory if we're using my existence as bait. We would like to erase it afterwards, even if we can convince him to give us the sword by other means. Even if we just erase it for a week or something, that gives us time to get out of here before he sends his goons after me.
Okay. Me, Alice, completely forgot to ask whether they could do it permanently, but it's fine if not. I feel like Tam would have remembered. It's just very late for me. It's up to you.
Val rolled high enough on an Arcana check that she can relay to you that with a high enough spell slot, a person can hypothetically do it permanently. That requires an out of character. It requires a 9th level spell slot to do so.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
All right.
But probably not.
I would have relayed that to you earlier. So and then I forgot to say that I would have relayed all the information the KKP.
So in canon, only the most powerful of mages can harness power over modification of memories to affect something permanently.
Gotcha.
And greater restoration or remove curse would still properly be able to dispel it.
All right. Okie dokie. Right. It's I don't know what the chances are of doing it permanently, but anyway, let's plan.
All right. Choo! Jump cut over to the war meeting room. There are several people already inside waiting as Torb leads you over and opens the door. And he actually steps in and stays inside. There are 2 halflings, a female dwarf who looks very old. It's the one that was talking to Torb earlier when you first broke at the beginning of the session. And then there is a female drow who is also there. Actually, Torb is the only male presenting person in this meeting currently. And Bianca is also there. I didn't notice it, but I was looking at all the NPCs and I was like, oh, bet, dope. Yeah, so there is, I'll describe them. There is one halfling who is has cropped wavy teal hair that's dyed with very soft golden skin and very round features. The dwarven cleric has this short, straight, grain white hair and very rugged, pale skin that's very heavy with scars and wrinkles that show her age. The drow, the drow is shorter than you expected, particularly for elves, especially with those long features that make her look almost human, if it were not for her obvious drow features. And she has this short braided platinum hair that kind of meets in two braids that come down to here. Very muscular and is kind of standing in one corner. There is a Lightfoot halfling with a shaved bald head and brown eyes, and seems to be kind of flipping what looks like a dagger, just kind of spinning it against one of her fingertips. And then there is Torb. Torb is there also. And they kind of welcome you in, and Bianca says, "Thank you all for being here. We are each of the heads of a different section of the Shattered Gauntlet. It's very important that we all try to work together. We have one real big shot at making a big impact and potentially usurping the crown. My brother and his companions here are going to help aid us in return for something that they're searching for, an object that we are going to help them retrieve. Now, we're happy to work with you in any manner of which you need. So, just let us know what you like."
I do want to say, even just us achieving our goal of taking his sword away from him, it sounds like that could weaken him significantly, which would be a benefit to your cause. Then we explain the plan.
Okay, and this is the plan of, I just want to double check. So you are writing a letter saying that you are you
We
saying
don't say anything about Ren's identity. We say we have a key piece of information.
okay. At key piece of information, the bald halfling goes, "What piece?"
It's not privy to your revolution, I'm afraid.
With all due respect, I think it is.
We can't work with you if we have to reveal that. Take it or leave it. Looks at Bianca.
Yeah.
It's
she
nothing.
does too.
It's nothing of danger to you. It's just it would put us in danger if it got out. It's nothing malicious.
So let me get this straight. You're expecting us to trust you with all the hope, all the stuff that we've built over the past couple years just because what we have to?
You don't have to. This is the plan. You know, take it or leave it. But we put an immense amount of trust in you as well.
Yeah, we're sort of placing our lives in your hands. You know, if you don't support us, this won't work. And if you don't trust us, this won't work. We trust you to
I'm happy to. No, sorry. Oh, look, I can tell the truth if that makes you help us. It doesn't mean we're going to answer every question, because some things we won't answer, but it will guarantee that what we are saying is truthful when we choose to speak of it, if that would put your mind at rest.
Look, with all due respect, and at that point, Bianca steps in and goes, "Oh gosh, what's your name? Where is it?" Sorry, one sec. She goes, Dralda, I understand that this is a lot that they're asking for, but I trust them and I think that we should at least hear them out. And you see Dralda goes, it's fucking bullshit, but kind of stays down the table kind of in a huff. And you continue to explain the plan of sending this piece of information. Do you mention the ring?
With evidence.
Okay. With a owl to the castle to invite King Canterbury to rendezvous at a secret meeting location in an alleyway, or is it just
Wherever they think is best.
Yeah, like open it up to
Yeah.
them.
Let's not. We've already had one really bad encounter in an alleyway. Let's not repeat that.
No.
and to a secret rendezvous point to come alone, and that you will trade this information for the sword, correct?
Yeah, and then we can mention that we're sure he won't come alone, so that would be their responsibility to neutralize any guards. And then we also have a few spells up our sleeves that can help convince him and possibly make him believe that he was convinced.
So at the end of this, Bianca kind of there's silence as Bianca kind of takes it in and everyone else takes it in and says, look, I think it's a really solid plan if it were anyone else but King Canterbury. If you're asking for him to come based on it'd have to be a hell of a piece of information to get him to even think about sending someone else to come in his place, let alone bringing himself. I think you have to offer more than information. You need to offer power or a weapon or a guarantee that he can achieve his goal. Because I don't think anything short of that is going to make him come in person.
I think we can modify the message just a little bit and achieve that. I can talk to the party later about that. We can offer him power.
I just, with the sword, because you said, did you say sword or are you still saying object?
I think
We got sold with that before.
Yeah, we told her.
I know you told her, but I didn't know if you wanted to tell the rest of the council.
I think if it's part of us convincing them that we're helping them by doing our plan, because they know that the sword is part of his power,
Okay.
then we would probably say it.
Basically, she wouldn't mention the sword unless you had already mentioned it.
Yeah.
So she says, what was she gonna say? Oh no. Look, I know that you're really interested in getting the sword, and the only way we're gonna get that is if we can somehow inhabilitate him for long enough or keep him long enough to convince him to give it to us, not convince him to take it. I think for our purposes, it's different from yours. Even getting someone like his right hand or someone close would provide us enough leverage to pull off the coup that we need. But
so, failing him coming, we still achieve something with this plan. Ideally, he would come, and I do think we can alter it slightly and possibly achieve that.
do you think that that's realistic, though?
I don't know. I don't know the king, but I do know what information we have.
You do.
Yeah,
And she turns to Augie and says, what do you think? You've been awfully quiet.
You're right, he's not going to come unless we really convince him. But I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, I trust you. So do you think that this piece of information is good enough to cause King Canterbury himself to come meet alone?
No. I don't think so.
Could we have a moment? I just want to convey something to them. Can we just step out and return in a moment?
Of course. And as you begin to step out, you immediately, as soon as you kind of pass through the threshold, you hear just smatterings of, "This is ridiculous. What are we doing here?" Like, blah, 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 blah. Lots of like, and Bianca just looking a bit in over her head, just trying to calm them down.
So,
But the door closes behind you.
So we were talking about offering the location of the lasting island. What if you just said you'd captured him?
Mm-mm. We're not. You're not. We're not doing that. Absolutely not.
Why? What's the difference, really? I'm still in this city. We're still. There's no difference in the plan, really. It's just.
He's got the same level of risk trying to die either way as right here.
I think that's a good idea, to be honest, because we don't actually have to do it when he comes. You don't have to be captured. It could just be a ruse, but I think we need a more enticing piece of information than we have the location. I think they're right. I don't think that's going to cut it.
Yeah. If you need to, you can send some of my hair. It's a family thing. The ring should be enough, though, even though it's supposed to power first. Do you think that offering the last heir of a territory that he no doubt wants would be enough, realistically, to bring him down from his castle?
Yeah, it would, but I don't like it.
It is no different from the plan that we walked in there with, really. It isn't.
I also want to make sure that everyone here knows that we can't trust the people in that room. They have their own agenda. We might need them as backup, but they can turn at any point and do whatever they want, whether it's kill us, kill him. We could be left with nothing.
Yeah, we need to be aware of that.
Okay?
And I do think this information, no matter how hard they press, we can't give it to them because they might be able to use me as well. Or they might want to kill me, considering who my family is.
I know it's your sister, but they are very, very dangerous.
And they might not all agree with her. They might act against her, I don't know.
In the background, in behind, you hear a smashing of something that sounds like a wooden something that just is crashed. Just
Case in point.
I wonder whether maybe we could give them a vague sense, not specifics, but they don't seem very happy. I wonder whether we could say something like, what we are offering the king is a chance to expand his territory.
I think that's enough, yeah.
And at least they have that. I mean, we don't have to know, but they don't know anything more. I think we need to bring something to the table.
I know you don't like it, Augie, but I promise it's not that different from what we already had. He's not actually going to take me.
Okay, we're going face to face with your dad. That's about as risk as it gets. Doesn't matter how we wrangle it.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
Okay, go back.
All right. You walk back in and you kind of open the doors. My son died for this cause. I'm not going to. And then it quiets down again as all the eyes quickly turn to you. They're all in very defensive, kind of aggressive positions as they kind of straighten up. In one of the corners, you see what looked to have been a small box that is now caved in and looks as though there's a bit of wine that is now flowing from that space. And you enter back in and Bianca goes, all right. So there's a little bit of tension, hopefully worked something out.
We've changed a little bit of what we're willing to offer him. And, well, we still can't give you specifics. We are offering him the means to expand his empire. And Augie seems to believe that is enough.
Augie?
You're frozen.
There you go. There, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No.
The Shattered Council would like to officially let you know that they are putting a lot of trust into this plan and that there are disagreements. However, what is life without a little risk? Right? And they all kind of, one of them kicks one of the tables, kind of, they all look not happy, but no one directly says anything. She says, okay. So, when is this happening? When are we doing this?
So I think the details of this plan, the where and the when, you can advise us on that. We don't know the city as well as you.
Well, you need the sword as soon as possible, right?
We do need a day to get someone here who can help with the plan. At least a day. So it can't be like tonight. Maybe either tomorrow night or the night after.
Sooner the better is probably the smartest plan of action, especially if this information is as important. A person wouldn't want to hold on to it for long. Is it okay to do tomorrow night?
I think we can manage that.
All right.
Gives us a bit to plan.
Yeah.
Without the fine details.
All right. Well, let's pray to helm this works. And I think that is where we'll end this session. UK folks, thank you so much. I know it's late, so I really appreciate you guys being able to
Oh my goodness.
stay. Miller, you okay?
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
We are in so much danger.
Oh my god. All right. Well, we will hopefully be back playing soon. We always say that, but hopefully we will. And thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us. I hope you have a really nice day, night, evening, week. Make sure to tell the people that you love them. That's really important. And we love you as well. So, all right, have a nice evening, night thing. All right.